Hey guys, welcome back. It's another grading company video, essentially. But this time, it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to both praise and criticize PSA on a couple things here. So first up, we have a recent update, 3.10.23, where they talk about the issues that we saw in a recent video of mine. This bad boy right here. See if we can get it on screen. With the federal charges for counterfeit sports card seller who scammed for more than $800,000. So that's a nice little story. I'll put a link to all the videos that I mentioned down below at the top of the description in case anyone missed any of those and would like to see it in more detail. But yes, so the praise for PSA is going to first come with their ability to at least communicate with the people affected by scams that are related to their business. We see a whole lot of none of that from BGS, kind of less from CGC, but essentially it's good that they're working with law enforcement. It's good that people can reach out if they got scammed. If they have a card from, let's say they have one of these Mayo Gilbert McNeil issues, then you can reach out to PSA and hopefully they can help you. Whether or not they can refund you or help you in that way on some of these issues with scams, etc., is up in the air, and probably not if there's something that isn't necessarily PSA's fault. But it's good to see that they can put you in touch with the correct people. And as they mentioned here, that they are in contact with the FBI for a lot of these issues. I think that's a step in the right direction, because I guess there's not enough of a threat, or there hasn't been up until recently, for scammers to just get absolutely bonered. And that's what they need. They need to know that, hey, you're going to prison. Hey, you're getting fined. There's repercussions for scamming, whether it's trading cards, whether it's Pokemon cards, sports cards, whatever it is. But regardless, let's read through here, and then we'll get into the title of the video with the middleman stuff, which I thought was a thing of the past, but it seems like it's creeping back in. So stay tuned if you want to hear the criticism, but we're going to read through the recent update, make sure everyone's on the same page here. If I'm being honest, there's a little bit of nothing kind of said here. But it is nice that they at least made a public statement regarding it, since it was, I think, primarily the cases, the PSA cases that were being used to fraudulently recase the counterfeit cards. So, PSA's fight against counterfeiting. At Professional Sports Authenticator PSA, we are committed to protecting our customers from counterfeit products. The recent case involving a Mayo Gilbert McNeil highlights the importance of our efforts to combat this issue, and we are proud to have worked closely with the FBI and other law enforcement agencies to take them down and hold those responsible for producing and distributing counterfeit products accountable for their actions. Super important, regardless of whether it's graded cards or not. I think it's just important that the people know, especially these scammers that are doing it on the higher dollar amounts, that they know that it doesn't. If the money is there, there's going to be scammers. But also, if the money is there, then you start getting into a little bit of a federal butt pumping, if you want to put it that way. We understand that counterfeiting is a serious issue in the hobby, and we are always working on security innovations with our holders and services. Our commitment to product integrity is unwavering, and we have invested heavily in a number of security features for our slabs to ensure that our grading products are as secure as possible. These features include advanced holograms, proprietary labeling, and tamper-evident cases that prevent any attempt to remove or replace the item, as well as images available publicly via certificate verification. I've said this again, and I'm glad that they're actually taking photos and uploading them of every single card. I think they should also be providing images of the fakes, maybe side by side, if there's known fakes for a certain number, and even if they switch the cert number, show what the fake looks like, along with the warning that the cert has been deactivated. We are also continuing to explore new ways to prevent counterfeit products from entering the market and to ensure that our customers receive only the highest quality, authenticated, and graded products. We encourage customers to only purchase from authorized retailers and dealers to ensure authenticity and easy recourse if necessary. Our network of authorized dealers I think these are supposed to be not plural, buy, sell, and submit items on behalf of the consumer, and they are committed to providing a high level of service and expertise. So I was under the impression that PSA kind of learned their lesson, and they no longer have dealers or middlemen, if you want to call them. I guess the less fancy fancy term. It's my belief that at this point in time, after the incidents that we have seen, the middlemen should not exist. If you want to submit your cards for grading, you should do it directly. If PSA wants to provide some sort of extra service where they have maybe a little home base or a receiving department in other countries, etc., I think they should do that on their own. I think it's really, really dangerous and really dumb that after the examples that we've seen, and we're going to take a look at in a minute here, that this is even a thing. It absolutely blows my mind. I get it that it probably costs them less money, and then they can kind of shift some of that liability onto someone else, but it's not a good idea, in my opinion. We want our customers to feel confident in the authenticity of their graded items. As part of our ongoing efforts to combat counterfeiting, we have developed a number of tools that customers can use to verify the authenticity of their cards. Our online certification verification page and PSA app allow customers to scan the barcode of their item and verify its authenticity. We also offer a network of authorized dealers. It just leaves a bad taste in my mouth every time I hear middlemen, authorized dealers, etc. The customers can rely on to ensure they are receiving authentic PSA graded items. I guess we haven't seen that scam yet, where they say they're going to grade them, but then they fake grade them. That'd be interesting. Wouldn't surprise me if that happens. Again, another reason why they should just do their own work. If you want to be a business, if you want to be a grading card company, do it start to finish. From the customer to you, the less hands in the pants, the better. There's no way to tell. There's a lot of bad things that can happen when you have a group of people with their hands in your pants. Don't ask me how I know. We understand that the recent case involving Mayo Gilbert McNeil may have caused concern for some collectors, and we want to ensure them that this was carried out by external criminals and not by anyone within the PSA organization. We will continue to work closely with law enforcement agencies to prevent counterfeit products from entering the market. So I don't think I've seen anything at any point that indicated that it was actually someone at PSA or anyone involved with PSA directly, but good to know. If you suspect that you have purchased counterfeit products, please visit the Customer Request Center CRC online portal in your PSA account to file a quality assurance request. Once filed, a CRC representative will provide instructions on how to submit your card for item verification free of charge. If, after inspection, your item is determined to be a counterfeit, PSA will connect you to the authorities directly. We are committed to working with our customers and the hobby as a whole to prevent fraud and protect the integrity of the collectibles industry. In conclusion, we want to thank our customers for choosing PSA for their grading and authentication needs. We remain committed to upholding the highest standards of product integrity and ensuring that our customers receive only the best possible service and expertise. So, I guess it's also important to note that if you have issues, if you have something that falls in under the same scammer, etc., even if it's something graded by somebody else. So, say for example, for some reason you have a Mayo Gilbert McNeil graded BGS card that's been cracked and resealed or whatever, with a fake copy. If you can't get a hold of BGS and they're not giving you answers and they aren't putting you in touch with the authorities, you can still reach out to PSA, and I'm sure they can at least connect you with the people you need to talk to from law enforcement. So I think that's a pretty good resource, and we're gonna applaud them for that. But don't worry, don't get ahead of yourself. Don't get a big head, PSA. Because it wouldn't be a Rattle Pokemon video if we didn't rail on you for something. So again, we have the video here with the federal charges if you guys want to check that out if you haven't already. But then, most importantly, next we have Auburn, who sent me a message, who sent me this here. So if you guys aren't familiar with Blowout, it's a sports forum, which there's a lot of cracking down, a lot of investigation that goes on there in terms of like scammers and stuff, mostly in the sports realm. But it's always a good read. I haven't been checking in there enough recently, but it's important that you do. Even if you're not a sports person, it's important. There's a lot of overlap that goes within these hobbies with trading cards in general. I guess any collectibles in that kind of manner, you're gonna have the same type of scams. Anything with money involved, and as we saw more money go into Pokemon, etc. It becomes more and more similar to the sports world. So it's good to know a little bit about both. Again, I'm not a sports card expert by any means, but definitely good to have. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on similarities within whatever hobby it might be that you're collecting. So most importantly, I guess after that communication, what Auburn had sent me, what he was quoting there, is the next article here, the previous article that came out on the 1st, which is Dear Ludkins UK customers. Since late 2022, PSA has been diligently working to establish a safe and efficient process to return to the rightful owners all trading cards submitted to PSA for grading on their behalf by former dealer Ludkins UK. All right, let's get a little brief synopsis, little recap of what was going on there. Bad things. So this is where I'm talking middlemen. And if you're going to send cards, if you want your cards graded, personally, I don't care. I don't want them graded. I don't want my cards graded. But if you want your cards graded, send them yourself. Unless you have like a really good friend that you trust top to bottom, it's just not worth it. Even if it seems like a big business, we've seen it. It can fall apart, and it's a nightmare to get your stuff back if you ever even get it back. So first up, we have this example here. We have Mark's cards, which is the biggest one. And I guess at that point, that was kind of like the holy crap. Even the biggest of big middlemen can just decide to be bankrupt or something. They can spend money on stupid crap, and all of a sudden, all the cards that are unpaid for at PSA, then PSA has to like send them back to everyone. And they did so at no charge, but surprise, surprise, it's not at no charge. It's still going to cost everyone that's submitting after that point. They have to make that money back somewhere. So whether it's higher grading fees, whatever services, however they need to make that money back, it's going to be somewhere else, and it's going to be the customers that are paying that, regardless of what people want to believe. So important to know. Again, I will put the Mark's card stuff down below. Giant middleman, the biggest of big middlemen in existence, and yeah, so they went belly up, belly under. Whether it was intentional or not, you guys decide. It seems like it was, but there's a lot of ways that these businesses, these middlemen, these like kind of pop up stuff, whether it's their intention or not, it is very easy for them to end up not existing anymore. We'll just put it that way. So we have a couple videos on the Mark's cards. I believe it's a scam, or it was a scam, but again, the details are all there. We'll have to stay tuned. I don't know if there'd be any like real updates on that, but similar to that and more on the Pokemon end of things, we had PSA UK, where it was Ludkins, and even I at some points have recommended that people would submit through Ludkins if they're going to use a middleman. At least use one that's like reputable, that's bigger, that has a better chance of not disappearing. But even that, after this point, after the Ludkins stuff went down. And then we have another example of the same thing. It's just like the middleman disappears. Some of the cards are there. The cards are unpaid because they didn't have the money to pay them. Business goes under. Customers' cards are lost in limbo. And then if there's fighting between PSA and whoever the middleman is, so then it can get tied up. And as we're seeing here with the Ludkin stuff, there's people still didn't get their cards back. And like, what is this? 3 months ago that I was covering, 4 months ago with the Ludkin stuff. So you have cards that are graded, that are unpaid for, that are sitting around there. You have the Mark's card stuff. So within the last year, I guess it was a year ago with the Mark's card stuff, you have incident after incident and two very large middlemen that if they can poof, anyone can poof. And it just shouldn't exist. It should be PSA. If you want to run a business, run your own business. You shouldn't be tickling buttholes with little companies or people that are going to charge to like forward stuff along. If you want to have a business in certain countries, etc., to make it easier for people to submit, have a PSA warehouse there, whatever you need to have, so that even if you don't have grading there, they can just receive it and they can send it over. Similar to what like the PSA UK thing was supposed to be, except you own it. You're not hiring, or not even hiring. You're just like signing a contract with someone that isn't you. So just take responsibility. I know it's going to probably cost you more money because you can't get someone else to do your work for you. But just open your own businesses, open your own branch. Maybe eventually it gets to the point that it makes sense in order to like actually grade cards over there. Who knows? Regardless, this is a mess, and it's looking even worse here. So we have to achieve this as quickly as possible. PSA began the process by returning the cards submitted by Litkin's largest group submitters first. Among the top largest group submitters were Flashcards and PokeGeodude. The PokeGeodude returning cards back to PokeGeodude, who was altering cards. Okay. To whom we've already started shipping cards directly, although not all cards have been shipped to them. We are sending shipments regularly. Now that this first wave of shipments is underway, we are proud to announce that Dan's Pokestop, holy crap, is now an official PSA dealer, and PSA has formally contracted them to coordinate the return of the remaining cards through their new shop. So does anyone see a problem with this? You have incidents where your biggest middleman screwed everything up, and now the second example of that screw up that was caused by a middleman, at least according to PSA. The middlemen kind of seem like they're blaming other people or PSA themselves. But here we have, we're gonna resolve the issue of the middleman screwing up and messing everyone's orders up and having everything postponed and not paying for them. We're gonna resolve that by getting another middleman company to sort everything out and get people's stuff back to them. What the hell? Is there any? This blew my absolute mind when I saw it. I was like, "There's no way." Surely they've learned. Also, for everyone that's asking about the Muck video, yes, Muck. It's the same thing. It's another middleman example where now the cards are at PSA unpaid. So you would think with the bigger examples they would have learned. They even PSA themselves will probably tell all the customers that have the stuff stuck at PSA through the smaller middleman, etc. The people that are submitting, group submitting, that they shouldn't be doing it. But at the same time, now they have a middleman that's going to solve the issue for them, and then you're going to have another one. Is this just going to be a cycle? Like how long before Dan's Pokestop just doesn't pay their bills too? Or maybe there's something in place here that they're not mentioning. But to me, this makes zero sense. And I think we got this is definitely a silly. It's probably financially driven move by PSA, thinking that they can save money by having another middleman kind of scenario do their work for them instead of actually just having the staff and making sure you can do this stuff on your own, which is the most secure way to do it. We're going to talk about customer security and everything that they should have, all this faith in PSA that they should be able to make good decisions for their collectibles. This is not a good decision. We've seen it time and time again. As soon as the Ludkins thing happened, my stance was never middleman. Never, no, don't do it. Never submit them yourself. The more people that touch that, the more people, and then you have middlemen that are middlemaning to other middlemen that we saw with the Mark stuff where it's just a chain of everyone trying to make a couple bucks off a submission and PSA not wanting to do their own work. That's kind of what it comes down to. So stop. For the love of God, stop before this just repeats itself. It's just bound to happen. Starting this month, PSA will be shipping Dan's Pokestop thousands of cards monthly to sort, verify ownership, and coordinate return shipments for those that have filled out the Ludkins Google form and or reached out via the Ludkins UK orders at collectors.com group email. While we understand many of you have been waiting a long time, we must continue to ask for patience as we begin this process. In particular, we ask that you be considerate of the fact that Dan's Pokestop will not be receiving all cards at once for insurance and tracking purposes. So, you're really showing a lot of faith in this middleman company, Dan's Pokestop. I'm not really familiar with them, but it doesn't matter. If you had Marks, if you had Ludkins that just boned everything, there's no reason to repeat this process, and that's what they're doing. They will be tackling orders as they receive them from PSA, but rest assured that our team will be shipping them the oldest orders first to be fair to everyone across the board. Wait, what? So they're going to tackle the orders as they receive them, but also they might not be receiving the first orders, or are they shipping them in order, but they don't know who they belong to. Okay, maybe they're shipping them to Dan's Pokestop in order. We also want to clarify that any cards that are still raw and in Mr. Ludkin's possession will not be handled by Dan's Pokestop. We advise you to contact Ludkins directly for those cards, as those were never sent to PSA and are not part of this arrangement, given we have no submission records for those cards. So I don't know if there's any indicator if Ludkins put out any kind of statement out. Maybe they did. Maybe they reached back out to customers, hopefully, that so people could actually know whether or not some of those submissions didn't make it to PSA, so they know exactly where to contact, who to contact. But again, this is the kind of mess that you would think they would be avoiding at this point in time. But even here, we're seeing the mess, but then they're repeating the step or the process or the system that created the mess in the first part. Holy crap, man. You can't even make this stuff up. As mentioned in past emails, we will provide regular updates through the PSA Communication Center. In the meantime, please be on the lookout for an email from Dan's Pokestop to coordinate your return shipment. Sincerely, the PSA team. Whew. All right. Yeah, guys, I don't freaking know. I don't get it. You would think that this would be something that that would make a whole lot of sense for them to avoid making the same mistake over again. But you can't help this. This is like, I don't know, what is even the best analogy for this? Is this like the old woman that swallowed the fly and then you keep feeding her other animals to eat each other? Because you got the middleman solving the middleman issue and becoming the new middleman. So the spider, is Dan's Pokemon the spider, and Ludkins is the fly. All right, guys, let me know what you think down below. Is this a huge mistake? Is it as bad as I think it is? To me, this makes no sense. Other than the fact that it's probably money driven. And in order to save a buck, we're gonna have Dan's Pokestop do this stuff for them, and then maybe they get rewarded in becoming the new middleman as a trophy or some kind of deal. Whew. All right. Join the Discord. See you next time. Bye. Love ya.